Are you tired of all the SEO myths out there? In this video, I'll debunk the top 10 common SEO myths that are simply not true. Stay tuned. Hi guys, this is Jackie from techjackie.com and welcome you to another video on SEO. First of all, if you're brand new to this channel, make sure to press the subscribe button down below so whenever I release a new SEO video like this, you'll get notified. I know many of you have heard or read about a common SEO myths as well as lies that you've been hearing in the industry for a while. So in this video, I'd like to explain to you, or rather debunk the SEO myths or common lies that many people have heard or let's say read out elsewhere, right? So in this video, I'll explain to you what are the lies and what is actually the truth behind these lies, right? So without further ado, let's dive right into the top 10 SEO myths, right? So here I've curated the list, right, in my on my paper. So I'll go through the list one by one and it will explain to you what is the truth behind it, right? So the first myth which I was able to find on the internet is SEO is cheap, right? Well, to be honest, it used to be cheap back then, back in 2012 or 2013, something like that. But nowadays, if you really want to compete in the industry, because nowadays people are really aware of SEO, so the competition is getting more fiercer and fiercer, right? So more and more money needs to be pumped into the industry. So in fact, according to the stats, by 2020, which is already this year, it is estimated that business owners are ready to spend up to $80 billion in the SEO industry. So the prices are going up and up. So definitely this is a myth, right? It's like just an assumption that SEO is cheap, right? People used to think that maybe just throw in a bunch of SEO plugins and all you need is just write a bunch of content that you will rank. No, right? I mean, it's getting much more harder and harder, and more money is needed to really help you rank better. So of course, definitely not, SEO is not cheap. The second myth here is, which I have here, is SEO is dead, right? Again, similar to the first one is, because as the competition is growing more and more, people think that SEO is dead, right? And the only way out here is to run Google ads, right? Well, SEO is not dead yet, but it's rather has become much more important than ever before, right? Because another stats which I was able to find today morning stated that PPC costs, right, or the cost of advertising on Google AdWords or Facebook ads are also going much higher than ever before. So now people are starting to revert back to SEO again, right? All the business owners or people out there starting to revert back to SEO again, because now on the PPC also competition is going up and up, right? And Facebook ads, which people used to think that is cheap, are not as cheap as it was before. So SEO is not dead, but it's just getting much more difficult. Google has evolved a lot, right? And now gaming the algorithm has become much more difficult. But is it dead or is it irrelevant? Definitely not. It's still very relevant. In fact, I made a video on this like a couple of months back, explain this concept clearly. I'll leave the link in the description so you can check it out, right? Okay, so SEO is not dead. The third myth or lies which I found on the internet is every website needs a blog. Well, it is not necessary that your website needs a blog, right? The reason why people think that blog really helps them with SEO is because blog acts like it adds an extra layer to their content strategy, right? Because you see, like with your website, you can only rank for a certain type of keywords, right? Let's say you're a plumber, right? So you can only rank for the service page, you can rank for your home page, and if you don't have a blog, then that's pretty much it, right? You can only bring certain fixed amount of traffic. But when you have a blog, you open more opportunities to rank for much more broader keywords, right? Much more variety of keywords. Like for instance, in your blog section, you can provide like information content, right? And usually like information content, they're like not as difficult as commercial intent content. Let's say you're searching for how to bake a pizza, maybe not as competitive as buying a pizza, right? Because more competitions are going towards the area or the keywords that are making money, right? Whereas the information side keywords, they're like pretty, you know, left wide open, so you have a much more opportunity to explore there. And when you're able to, you know, write a blog, right, when you're able to figure out the low competition keyword from the blog, you're able to rank it much higher and, you know, much easier. And that's why, you know, people often recommend your website to have a blog. But is it necessary? It is not. But should you have it? Yeah, I recommend you should have it, right? Add that extra layer to your website. Okay, the fourth myth which I have here is keywords are all you need. Google has evolved a lot, right? Like from the past, right, where you used to, you know, just simply stuff in a couple of keywords and you just rank it as easy as it sounds. But nowadays, it's not about keywords, right? Of course, having keyword present in your content, in your title tag, your meta descriptions, in the URL, these are, you know, necessary, right? In order for the search engines to understand or to, you know, figure out what your content is all about. But are the keywords all you need? No, right? It's definitely not. Nowadays, the search engine works on what we call as like a semantic search engines, right? Where, you know, Google won't just look at your main keyword, right? They will also look at a bunch of keywords related to that keyword. So this could be like, you know, like LSI keywords, right? Or any keywords that are related to your main keyword. Like for instance, if you write a content about Empire State Building, then Google also expects to see the keyword related to such as NYC, right? New York, Times Square, you know, all these, you know, related keywords that are related to Empire State Building, right? So hope you're getting the idea here. It's more or less like an LSI keyword, but also, you know, like a semantic relationship with the keyword, right? I also made a couple of videos on this, right, which explains, you know, how actually Google search engines understand the content, right? I'll also leave the link in the description so you can check that out, right? So our keywords are all you need for SEO? Definitely not. You need much more keywords, right? In fact, search engines now are revolving towards what we call as topic-based rankings, right? So rather, they're not just going to rank for the keywords, but also they're also looking for the topics associated with the keywords, right? So the more you cover about the topics, the better you have a chance of ranking, right? Not the keywords. The fifth myth which I have here is more backlinks mean better ranking. Well, as you probably know, you know, backlinks are probably one of the most important ranking factors, but does the numbers really means that you're gonna rank higher? Definitely not, right? It used to be back in the past, but now, you know, it doesn't mean that if you just, you know, throw in like thousands of backlinks and you'll rank much better, right, than your competitors. In fact, the quality is much more, you know, is being focused here more, right? So rather than just looking at the numbers, search engines like Google will also look at the quality of the backlinks, right? So a couple of handful of, you know, high quality backlinks can really help you rank higher, like compared to thousands of low quality ones, right? So more backlinks mean better ranking? Definitely not, right? It's more of a quality here. The sixth myth which I have here is you can rank without a backlinks. This is a very common myth which I, you know, find elsewhere on the internet. And if you're trying to say that can you rank a page without a backlinks? Yes, you can. But can you rank the entire website, right, you know, without a backlinks? I would say it's like, you know, maybe like less than 1%, right? I in fact, you know, from my experience, I've never seen any website, you know, ranking without a backlinks. I mean, I've seen like just one or two actually that I came across recently, but I would say, you know, it's like even I think maximum 1% chance you have that you can rank the entire website, right, without a backlink. And you know, the example which I came across was not even an English website, right? So if you're in an English market, I've never seen any English website before that ranks without a backlinks, means not even a single backlinks pointing to the domain, right? So 0 referring domains to the entire website, right? So I would say, you know, at least 1 or 2, you know, couple of backlinks you need, right? You don't really need it to the page that you want to rank, but you need it to, you know, some of the page on your website, right? So let's say you got 1, or let's say you got 2 backlinks to your home page, then you can distribute that link power, right, to other inner pages through the internal links, right? So you can definitely do that. Okay, and the seventh myth here which I have is your domain name should include a keyword. Well, it doesn't really matter, like this is called as exact match domains and partial match domains, right? EMD and PMD. It used to work very well back then, right? Because by having the keyword in your domain names, it really signal to search engines or Google that your website is relevant to the queries, right? But then after like I think 2013, Google releases an algorithm which kind of devalue this type of websites, right? So but according to my experience, I still see that this still works right nowadays, but it it will only give you a slim chance over or an edge over your competitors. And also it also makes sense to the users, right? Let's say if you're selling like cleaning products, let's say you're selling a mops, right? A cleaning mop. So if you have a domain with something like mopcleaningusa.com, then it makes more sense for the users to actually click on your website more, right? Because your website will look like a super relevant website to the keyword, right? So I would say it's quite still very I mean, it's still working, right? But as far as the ranking is concerned, it's not that much of a big deal now. In fact, if you have this type of domains, right, and you don't write good content, you don't maintain it well, you will still fall behind other other type of domains, right? So should your domain name include a keyword? I would say I mean, it's not necessary, but if you can do it, then it's definitely a good thing, right? Okay. Eighth myth here which I have here is more content means better SEO, and this is definitely not true. In fact, more content can even lead to worse SEO, right? And what I mean by here is that you see, like when Google wants to rank your website or a page on your website, it doesn't just look at your page, it will look at your overall website quality, right? So let's say if you have too many low quality pages on your website, right? If you try to crank out as many content as possible, and in the process you start generating low quality content, right? Because I think it's not possible for anyone to give 100% to each and every one of your content, right? Especially if they start pumping out lots of content on a larger scale, then I don't think it's you can give 100% to your content. So the more low quality content that your website has, the lower your quality score is. So when Google looks at your website, instead of ranking you higher, it will kind of degrade your quality score, right? So I would say quality matters like more than quantity. So make sure that you only crank out a handful of content, but make sure that those are really good ones, right? Because if you just hit first page ranking for a couple of them, that should be enough, right? Rather than let's say you have 1,000 blog articles and only like 10 of them reach first page, or you have 40 blog articles and 10 of them reach first page, right? So which one do you think is a better option? The second one, right? So that's the thing here. So more content means better SEO? Definitely not in this case. And the ninth myth which I have here is longer content ranks more. Another common myth which I find among the bloggers out there. And by writing longer content doesn't always mean you will rank higher. In fact, it all depends on the intention, right? The search intent and what users are actually looking for, right? In fact, I made a very good video on this. It has a clear explanation on this point as to how many words you should actually write for your content. I'll leave the link in the description so you can check it out. But just to summarize it for you, it depends on the queries, right? Let's say if a users are like, what is SEO? Then all you have to provide is definitions and the types, right? Or maybe a couple of details about SEO. You don't really have to go into deep and onto like explaining how to actually do SEO, right? So it all depends on the user's query, right? And Google is also getting smarter and smarter, and it is able to figure out this very well, right? So you'll see that a couple of content on the internet, maybe like 500 words article are all it needs, right, to rank higher for that topic or keywords. So I would say that longer content ranks more. I would say it's not the case, but longer content, right, gives you a higher chance of ranking higher. This is because of comprehensiveness, right, or how well you cover the topics. The more content, the more content generally means that you cover more topics, right, more of the topics. So this will give you a higher ranking chance. But if you cover more than what is necessary, then that will, you'll get a little bit of penalized for that as well. So keep in mind on this point here. And the 10th myth which I have here is you have to publish content regularly. This is again, very common myth among the bloggers, is that you should at least publish like 1 or 2 articles per day, right? And this is simply not true. Again, publishing content regularly doesn't guarantee that your SEO will rank higher. In fact, there's no study published as to this point really valid. I think from my experience, the only thing that it helps is number one, it helps practice you to become like it helps setting the mindset for like the content producing. Because let's say if you're just starting out, publishing content sounds like very boring, right, and very difficult to do. But if you start publishing it regularly, it kind of trains you like automatically, so after a certain period of time you'll get used to it, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing, by publishing more, by updating more of your content, it kind of trains the search engine's crawler, right, the Google crawler, to come back to your site more often and to crawl your page more often. So this way, your pages will get indexed faster, and you have a chance of getting ranked faster as well, right? Because let's say if your page gets indexed within 24 hours, then you can really decrease the time of the time for your page to get ranks, right? But again, if you just want to get ranked faster, you can just simply go to Google Search Console and submit the request index, right? That also can be done as well. So that's all for the 10 common myths, right, about SEO and lies. And if you want me to make the part 2 of this video, make sure to comment them down in the comment section, right? So I'll go and find out more of the common SEO myths. And if you have any more questions, right, regarding SEO, or that you want me to make a video on, make sure that you comment them down in the comment section down below as well. If you like this video, make sure to press the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet. That's all for it. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.